CARABAO, Part 4, From Rags to Riches. It wasn't long after meeting Sin Lou that she was up and off again. She really loved travelling, you know what I mean? She'd been round the world, and she's going round again. Been all over Europe and Americas and everywhere. She even told me about her partnership with the twins. That's why they had a special private dining area where they kept their meetings every night. You know, she was one of their main investors, really. I could tell she liked me though. Anyway, I got to meet Joey. What a character he was. He's a little tiny fella, right flash Harry, you know what I mean, with a big fat cigar and a big floppy hat, you know what I mean. He really looked funny, but he cannot make a deal, I'll tell you that. He gets the fighters, puts them together, he travels all the country like looking for fighters, you know what I mean. Considering it was all underground stuff, you know, all the bets was underground, so people were betting big money and, you know, there was a lot of it going on, you know. The twins always used to put a fair bit on, you know what I mean, so he asked me to put some on, you know what I mean, so I put 10 grand on Danny. Yeah, he was my boy, you know, I've got to bet my boy, you get me? They call him CARABAO now, you know what I mean? He was really looking tough. But comes the day of the fight, we all set off. You know, the twins in the Hummer, like they had a big Hummer where they fit loads of the boxes in. And I was driving along with Danny and a few of the other trainers. It was about 9:30. Got through the traffic, like quite a bit of traffic. They said we're heading to a place called Marikina. I've never been to Marikina before myself. But anyway, we travelled all the way through and then arrived over to the other side and then down by the river. I think they call it the Pasig River.
It was about 10:45 we got there.
It was an old disused warehouse, I think it was. A big place, like a storeroom. And yeah, right dark, you know what I mean? Leading up to it, you could hardly see anything. And then out from the blue, someone shouts out, "Hey, boss! Hey, boss!" That's the twins would answer and shout, "Yeah, everything good? Okay, take it easy." But anyhow, this door opens and this couple of big fellas with Rottweilers standing at the door, all dressed in leather and stuff like that, you know what I mean, right, hardcore. And it was like that all the way through, you know what I mean, top looking security guys, because this was all underground stuff, you know what I mean. But we got in the place and there was like loads of people milling about, there was smoke, you could smell some weed, and there was heavy reggae sounds. I think it was the Buchanan sounds. Yeah, that's right, they were putting it down, you know what I mean. And Danny, I've got Danny, we got in the corner, and I says to him, "Danny, you make sure you sort this kid out."
He was a big lanky fella from over in Pasig. I think he was from Nigeria. Been knocking people out, you know what I mean? He's had 3 fights and he's won them all. Bloody hell. Big lanky fella, about 6'8", I think he was. I says to Danny, "You sort this kid out."
And he smiled and he said, "Okay, boss." As he started to warm up. What an event this looks like. So much people, all the birds were blinging and stuff like that, and bets going on. It's hard to believe. The twins were running all of this. No wonder they had so much money. And they were caking it on the bets and all.
But anyhow, the twins took me over to meet some more of their mates and the big betters and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Bookmakers. Then little Joey comes over with a big sheet of paper, followed by his 2 big miners, still puffing on a big cigar the way he always does. Then he turns around and he says, like, the order of the fights, and it worked out Danny was on the 6th. So there was going to be like a few fights before Danny went in. That sounded all good to me because that could give him enough time to warm up and I'd get back round there and get him really psyched up. Well, it's not too hard with that kid because he's so keen, you know what I mean? Nothing fazed him. Anyhow, we carried on and watched a few fights and looks like our camp was doing really well. We had 4 winners and 1 draw, you know what I mean? And then it comes up to Danny. And Danny got in a ring, and this fella was like Nkomo, his name was, and he was a lanky fella. And Danny just kept his cool until the bell rang. When the bell rang, Nkomo came rushing out to Danny, swinging some big wild haymakers, and Danny ducking and diving, sticking him in the ribs and that. And then Danny comes with an uppercut, and Nkomo bounced back. And then Danny was on him. Danny was on him like a lion out of a cage, that kid went. And the crowd started to say, "CARABAO!" And then the bell rang. Round 2, Danny comes out, Nkomo comes out, bobbing and weaving and swinging, big ones. Danny ducked right under and hit him right on the side of the head, and then come right up and hit him, and then stuck him again, and it was all over. Nkomo melted on the floor like butter. That was my boy. Yeah, and that was how it all started. Danny kept winning a few fights and that, and we kept making loads and loads of money. CARABAO Part 5 From Rags to Riches. Danny was getting quite popular now, winning so many fights, you know. He's done like 6 fights on the run, and he just keeps knocking people out and really hurting them, you know. But anyway, the money was beginning to pile up because I was winning quite a fair bit of money on the bets and all, you know what I mean. But I always made sure that I paid Danny well. After a fight, I'd make sure he gets 15,000, 20,000, depending on how much we won on the bets. And that was besides what the twins would give him, you know. He didn't spend much. He was down the gym most of the time. But sometimes he'd take his mates out for something on a Saturday, you know, down the mall and have an ice cream and watch a movie. Have a nice time with his mates, you know. But one day he come down the gym crying his eyes out. I says, "Danny, what's the matter?" And he turned around to me and he says, "My papa stole my money." I says, "What do you mean your papa stole your money?" "My papa, he take my money from my drawer. I keep my money in the drawer, and my papa he take and he go to Sabong and he lose my money." What, the cockfight? Yeah. Oh mate, that was really terrible. I could see the anger in his face, and he was really so angry. I guess he would have probably knocked his papa out, you know what I mean? But boy, I tell you, didn't he train hard that night? So I told him, that aggression you've got to turn that into positive aggression and use it and sting and cut. You know you're the CARABAO and everyone's screaming for you. You walk down the road and everybody knows you. So, you know, son, we're going to make loads more money, and I'm going to help you get yourself a bank account. Alright, son? Thank you, son. So it was a couple of days after that, I ended up round his house and I met his dad, you know what I mean, his old man and his uncle and that. And boy, did I tell you, could they drink. They were on the sauce all day long. Do you know what I mean? Danny lived in a little old shack, really. It was just the size of one room, and there was a screen across it where his little bed and that where he slept, and his little drawer, his little dresser, and his old man had a little stove here and there, and the table outside, always on the sauce. But anyhow, he seemed like a nice enough fella. He thanked me, by the way, for looking after his son. So he must have been a nice fella, really. Just had a serious habit of going to the cockfights and losing money and drinking all the time. He turned around to me and he says, "You help my son. One day my son big champion and he buy me big house." I says, "Yeah, but first we gotta get him a bank account." So the next day we went down and I put some money and opened an account for Danny. And he was doing well. His 2 mates came along as well, you know. Yeah, he was really over the moon having his bank book and his bank card.